Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So today's episode comes to you courtesy of one of my amazing patrons, Mersheep, who's in support of this channel as a Brigadier General patron. I truly couldn't do this without the support from amazing patrons like Mersheep, so again, Mersheep, thank you again so much. And for this episode, well, I've got an overpowered budget commander for you with Stella Lee Wildcard. Yeah, this is quite the card. Let's talk about the commander first, talk about how we can break this commander in one of so many ways, and the absurd budget that we can actually do this all on. A 2/4 human rogue for 3 mana, and is it? Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. That was not needed on this card at all. At all to be crazy powerful, because this has tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose the targets for the copy. Activate only if you've cast 3 or more spells this turn. And there's no limitation on this, really. That is really not a limitation at all. It's an invitation to slightly storm before you really storm, basically. This is the type of commander where it kind of just goes off with a ham sandwich. You're just like, oh, okay, cool, I played that. Oh, wow, that goes all the way with that. Huh? That goes infinite with that. Oh, okay. Oh, I do this. Oh my goodness, it does that too. Yeah, there are so many ways for us to win. So quickly our opponent's heads will spin. This is a crazy good commander. Again, even though the commander is $4 or so itself, which is decently expensive for, you know, my budget decks when it comes to the total budget, that's like 1/5 of the budget. The rest of the deck is incredibly budget friendly. The total of the entire deck, including Stella Lee, is $20.50 according to Moxfield. Now note that doesn't include basics or include the cost of shipping, but you already have those basics. Regardless, incredibly budget friendly, incredibly overpowered deck that can just decimate your opponents in absolutely no time. We'll talk about all the different ways to do that, all the crazy things that you can do with this. Yeah, we're going to be jumping into that in the tactics. If you are interested in this deck, though, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Consider picking it up. Now let's jump into those tactics. And first up, really just to hammer in that point, just to say, you know what? This is kind of what you can do with this commander with a very simple card. Let's talk about the golden pig of this deck, the #1 card out of the 99, in my opinion. That is Refocus, a 35-cent card that just decimates everything with this commander. An instant for 1 in a blue, untap target creature, draw a card. It's that simple. Essentially, all we need are cards that untap our commander. That's literally all we need. And all of a sudden, oh, I can do that as many times as I want. Well, okay, with this one specifically, there is a limit to it, and it's called your deck. But this is basically a 2 mana, I draw my entire deck spell, which is absolutely absurd to think about, to say, okay, oh, wait, no, you know what? There is a limiting factor to it. Wait, you need to cast 2 other spells. Really? That a limiting factor? Okay, well, I've got a lot of other spells in this deck that just cost like 1 mana. Okay, so even if I just get my commander down on turn 3, I do nothing else every single turn except for play a land each turn. Turn 4 comes around, I'm like, okay, spell, refocus. I drew my deck. Yay. I mean, you probably want a little more setup than that, so you can actually take advantage of having your entire deck drawn, but yeah, you can do that. You can do that right then and there if you really want to, so there you go. Yeah, Refocus is a crazy good card to get instant speed, infinite, not infinite, draw rules layers out there, and also, like, your deck, you know, you're limited to that, but, like, draw your entire deck, 2-mana speed, yeah, crazy good card in this deck. Next up, let's go into tactic number 2, infinite draw, because, yeah, outside of Refocus, we've got other ways to do that too. Twitch, 2 in a blue instant. You may tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land, draw a card. I guess you might be able to guess what we're going to be doing. Yeah, we're going to be untapping our commander. As many times as we need to basically draw our entire deck. Jolt is another one that basically does the exact same thing, but is delayed draw. Instant, 4/2 in a blue, tap or untap target artifact, creature, land, draw a card at the beginning of next turn's upkeep. So again, it is delayed draw. Again, if you're like trying to like go off on this turn, you're gonna have to wait until you get all your things next turn, but that's okay. You're probably gonna be okay anyways, right? When you're just like, you know what, I'll draw 40 cards, why not? And again, since the next turn's upkeep, you know, if you're casting it, I say like, if you're going infinite on your turn, then you know what, you get to keep those cards because you're not waiting, you know, to get, you know, your max hand size down. Anyways, next up, Infuse. Basically the exact same thing, but it's just untap target artifact, creature, or land, draw a card next turn's upkeep again. So we've got, yeah, now all of a sudden, what, 4 ways to basically draw our entire deck if we want to. But of course, there's other ways to go infinite, other ways to basically win on the spot, other ways to do some crazy things. Let's jump into those. Moving on, though, let's move on to tactic number 3, infinite mana, because, yeah, we've got a lot of ways to generate infinite mana. Now, some of these cards, like Terrain Tactics, require other cards that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but, yeah, I'll give you the gist. Instant for a single blue mana. Untap 2 creatures, basically. I mean, it does other things like +0/+3, so I guess technically, like, infinite toughness as well for our creatures, and also, like, sure, if they block things, nice things happen. We don't care about that, though. What we care about is this untaps our commander, which, yeah, that's a given. That's what we want to do, right? Untap our commander so we can tap it again. I guess I probably should have said how that works. It's like you copy the spell while it's on the stack, and then the copy is actually resolving first, so then it untaps your commander, which then you can tap, copy the spell in the stack again to do it again, basically an infinite loop. So that's how that works. This one, though, lets you bring a buddy. So again, if you have any other buddy in play that does absolutely anything to generate mana, that's a mana dork like tapping for mana or tapping to untap a permanent, get to those cards here in a little bit, you get infinite mana. Congratulations, good for you. Next up, Dramatic Reversal. Untap all permanents you control. This actually can go infinite, of course, with mana rocks as well, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, all of our creatures untap. Hidden Strings is very interesting. Sorcery for 2 mana. You can also cipher it if you really need to. You may tap or untap target permanent, then you may tap or untap another target permanent. So this is basically, again, when we are going infinite. Again, I do say infinite, but like, okay, rules lawyers out there, a trillion, whatever, however many times you want to do this. You untap all your things as many times as you want, including, again, mana dorks, potentially. And then also you tap down every single one of your opponent's things, including their lands. So they can do nothing but watch in horror as you're like, yeah, things are not going so well for you. Moving on, Furnace Rains. This one's very, very weird. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature until after you control it gains haste. And whenever this creature is combination to a battle or player, create treasure token. This is very strange. So many threat effects, sure, can like technically go infinite with this commander. And if you have like a Magecraft trigger out, sure, you get infinite triggers of that. That being said, most of them are just like gain control of the creature, untap it. Cool. This one is... Oh, okay. So yeah, and I will say with these weird threat effects, you are targeting your own creature, so you already have control, but still. What matters is you're untapping it. You're also giving it again. Whenever this creature is combined to a battle player, create a treasure token. Technically that stacks. So again, if you put that on again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and then again, again, a trillion times, whatever it is, and then you swing your commander at someone and you hit someone just once, that will be a trillion treasures. Congratulations. Have fun with that. And yeah, like I've said earlier, we've got ways to get our commander through with like just like what we talked about, like tapping down your opponent's things. We've got a lot of ways to do that. And of course, we got other ways to get our commander through too. So again, this is basically infinite mana. Not infinite, like a trillion, whatever it is. But yeah, trillion treasures, good luck losing once you have that. Next up, Toils of Night and Day. Tap or untap target permanent, then tap or untap another target permanent. Basically, again, our Cipher card, Hidden Strings, but at instant speed on an arcane spell. Domineering Will, this is a very weird one. Instant for 4 mana, target player gains control of up to 3 target non-attacking creatures until turn. Untap those creatures they block this turn of Fable. This is a very strange card in that typically this is used to be like, haha, combat trick, while someone's swinging at me, I take some other creatures and I block with them, haha. This is actually, though, with this, okay, I can untap my own creatures, of course. I can untap up to 3 of those, so again, mana dorks, whatever, infinite mana, nice. Also, you can gain control of all your opponent's creatures. Now, they don't have haste. You can't swing with them because they are summoning sick when changing sides, which I just talked with my playgroup about that earlier, that it's kind of weird that it's called summoning sickness. But like when you're stealing a creature, you're not summoning it, you're just stealing it. So why is it summoning sick again? I don't know, but it is. That's why threat and effects have giving them haste as well. That being said, again, basically infinite mana with this one too. Involuntary Employment, speed of threat and effects. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until turn. Create a treasure token. Very simple, very effective. This is, hey, you cast this with your commander, you copy it infinitely, you got, again, a trillion treasures, whatever it is. Congratulations, you probably win from there. Traitorous Greed. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until end of turn. Add 2 mana of any one color. So again, infinite mana of all colors that you want, essentially. Next up, we've got Turnabout. Choose artifact, creature, or land. Tap all untap permanents of the chosen type the player controls, or untap all the untap permanents. Basically, just swap them, okay? So essentially, with this, you are going to be able to untap your army again and again and again and again. So do keep that in mind. Unity of Purpose, another interesting one. Support, too. So you get a counter on each up to 2 target creatures, which is nice. Untap each creature control they counter on it. So again, that first time, you're only untapping 2 creatures. Next time, you can untap 4, etc., etc., etc. So if you've got more than 1 mana dork in play, which is not really all that necessary, but nice, Cool, you get to untap all of them. Oh, also, by the way, they're infinitely large now. Or trillion, whatever. You've got a ton of counters on all your creatures. They're giant. Have fun swinging out and taking your opponents out. Next up, tactic number 4. Infinite Other is what I called this category because it's like other kinds of infinite. And yeah, it's nice. Dream Script. Choose one, tap target permanent or untap target permanent, or you can entwine it. And yes, when you copy a spell, you are copying it with that entwine. So if you get both, again, tap a permanent down, untap a permanent, and you entwine it, you get both. You untap your commander infinitely. You tap down all your opponent's things, so have fun with that. Next up, Shore Up. Target creature control gets ++1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Untap it. A great way to protect your commander, and also make it, again, infinitely large on that singular turn, which of course can help you in many ways, including just taking a player out if you can get through with it, which you've got plenty of ways to do that because you got ways to tap things down. Carries Ev's Expertise. Another weird one. I love this. Gain control of target creature or vehicle until end of turn. Untap it against haste until end of turn. You may cast a card with converting mana cost 2 or less for your hand without paying its mana cost. This is spicy because, yeah, again, we talked about ways to like draw your entire library. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you already have all the cards in your hand, you could just copy this as many times as you want and then cast everything that costs 2 or less from your hand just as many times as you want. Great. Or obviously, if you are just kind of going infinite with this, you're just casting all those other cards in your hand for free. And if you keep like going like cantripping and drawing further in your deck, you can get more cards that you can cast with this. So have fun with that. Next up, Mark of Mutiny, I should say. Gain control of target creature left turn, put a counter on it, untap it. The creature gains haste left turn. Again, basically an infinite or a trillion, whatever you want to call it, number of counters on our commander to make it that large. Twisted Fealty, though, might be one of the best cards in this deck as well. This is I win. I win the game if I go infinite with this. Sorcery for 3 mana in red. Gain control target creature left turn. Untap the creature gains haste left turn. Basically threaten. Create a Wicked Roll token attached up to 1 target creature. If you control another roll on it, you put that one in the graveyard, and the champion creature gets ++1. When this aura is put in a graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life. So, again, because you only have 1 of those auras on the creature, you, again, are copying this. You get a roll token on it. Cool. All right, you do it again. Oh, no, I have to lose that 1 wicked roll on my commander. Oh, no, it hits the graveyard. Oh, no, it drains my opponents. I get another one. I get another one. I get another one. You drain your opponents out, essentially, again, just by not recast this, but copying it as many times as you can for the amount of life total that your opponents have. So, they're gone. Next up, let's go on to tactic number 5, Cantrip Crushers. Yeah, we got a lot of cards that can help us cantrip. Conjurous Bauble, very simple, very effective artifact for 1 tap. Sacrifice up to 1 target card from your graveyard at the bottom of your library. Draw a card. Get us back a key card, but also it's, again, up to 1, so we don't even have to do that. It's just basically like a 1-mana cantrip, which is huge for this kind of a deck because you can use either mana of any color to actually cast this. Consider Surveil 1, then draw a card. Again, dig down in your deck, get to what you need. And very simply, what we're doing with these cantrips, again, are we just want 1-mana spells so we can cast them very easily, very efficiently, very effectively. Cast 2 of those. Cast, whatever spell we need to win. Copy it as many times as we need to win. Moving on, Crash Through. Creature control gain triple one turn, draw a card. This one actually can be relevant again if we like Mark of Mutiny. Our commander has, again, a trillion power. Swing through. Trample. You're gone. Next up, Expedite. This can be very effective as well. Target creature gains haste until end of turn, draw a card. This can actually get our commander going on the turn that it comes down, so keep that in mind. Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2. Technically not a cantrip because you're not going up in card advantage, right? But you are looting, which is fantastic. Dig down in your deck, get rid of cards you don't need, flash it back again if you need to. Leap, target creature gains flying until end of turn, draw a card. Again, say we have that infinite, near infinite power, whatever it is, on our commander or any other creature. Give it flying, have it swing through, and actually take an opponent out. Opt, we've got Surveil 1, draw a card. Sorry, Surveil. Scry 1, draw a card. That's the other one that's considered nowadays. Still, being able to dig down in our deck is quite nice. Overmaster, the next instant source spell you cast turn can't be countered, draw a card. Your opponent's going to be in trouble if they're like, oh, I've got 1 counter spell, I'm ready. Ha 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 ha. Oh no, I can't stop it. Oh no. Moving on. Peek, look at target player's hand, draw a card. It's just nice to know what your opponents have, and this can really help you. Like, okay, Blue Mage over there, do they have any counter spells? No, I'm good to go. Yay! Next up, Preordained. Scry 2, draw a card. Again, dig down in your deck. Quicken can actually make it so you can go infinite, essentially, on in a turn that you might not be able to go on, essentially. The next source spell you cast this turn may cast the red flash, draw a card. So again, you could technically, like, yeah, get those Wicked Roll tokens out on someone else's turn. Next up, Renegade Tactics. Target creature can't block this turn, draw a card. We talked about how potentially even swinging out can be very beneficial. Like, your commander has a ton of power, or that one treasure creating thing. Cool. Do so. Make it unblockable. Serum Visions. Draw a card. Scry 2. Again, dig down in your deck. Slip through space. Again, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Draw a card. Very useful. Whispers of the Muse. Again, we talked about having infinite mana potentially. Well, this actually can utilize infinite mana Buy back for 5, draw a card. So just dig down in your deck, draw all the cards that you need to draw. Lovely. Frantic Search, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, untap 3 lands. Again, not technically a cantrip, but like a free looting effect for you. This can be absolutely fantastic to be a spell. Just be like, oh, okay, cool, I cast a spell. I cast another one. Cast a spell I really need to cast, going infinite now. Moving on, tactic number 6, hurry up. Like Expedite, we've got other 1-mana things that can help us out when it comes to, well, just going off right away with our commander Footfall Crater. A great aura for a single red mana enchant land. Enchant land has tapped. Our creature gains trample and haste till end of turn. Again, we've already talked about how trample can help and haste as well, or we can cycle it away if we don't need that. Torch Courier, Hasty, Goblin for 1 mana. Sacrifice until our creature gains haste till end of turn. So again, we can actually just get this down on the exact same turn that we need it as a spell, and we need to actually cast our commander, and then we need to actually go hasty. Win times, lovely. And keep in mind with these hasty things as well, there's other different permanents out there that, again, if we want to go like infinite on mana as well, yeah, we get like a mana dork down or something like that, we give it haste and we go infinite there too. Next up, tactic number 7. Speaking of dorks, what a dork! That's the name of the tactic. Gobble Electromancer, kind of a dork, but kind of not. In-source spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. This can really help us reduce the cost of certain spells. It can be very good to help us go off very early. Iron Mirror, an actual dork, can tap for a red. Ornithopter Paradise, again, another dork, can tap for 1 mana of any color. Then we got some more specific dorks as well. Carful Harbinger, tap for a blue, only to cast a foretell spell. No, don't worry about that. Instant sorcery is what we care about for that. Again, the vast majority of this deck are instant sorcery, so this can really help us out in a lot of situations. Next up, Peligir Survivor. Add 1 mana of any color by tapping it. Again, only instant sorcery spell. Don't worry about having target player mill 3 cards. I mean, I guess technically you could be like, go infinite, untap, infinite mana, and then you could mill someone else. It could be a win condition as well. But again, earlier on, just a great way to add mana for our sorceries. One that can be devastating and amazing, and I love that this exists now, Red Death Shipwrecker. A 1/3 crab mutant for 2 mana, and is it? Tap, goad target creature to opponent controls. That player draws a card, you add red. It is not a may. Your opponent may not draw that card. They have to draw that card. So, and I mean, you might want to be a little careful when you're actually doing this, because like if someone has like a lot of mana available, you're like, here, draw all these cards. They're like, oh, well, okay, I stop you because I have this one spell that stops you. You're like, oh no. But if someone's tapped out and you're like, oh, okay, hey, here's what's going to happen. Or if you got some backup cards to be okay. Hey, I'm going to goad your creature, which again, this does depend on opponents having creatures, but typically opponents will have at least 1 creature, right? Goad your creature, you draw a card, and I get a red. Yay! Oh, and I do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And yes, you win the game by making that player draw out their deck and lose. And then you do it to the next opponent and the next opponent. So yeah, it's like quite a fun like little man dork that can help you out. Or just send opponent's creatures into danger earlier. Silver Mirror, tap for a blue. Lovely. Unblinking Observer, again, tap for a blue, but only for instants and sorceries. Same thing with the Tide Turner as well. Or kick spells, but no, we're with the kick spells. Mocking Sprite, again, like the Electromancer. In-source spells you cast cost 1 to cast. Nice reduction there. Vadrik can be great, though. In-source spells cost X less to cast for X is Vadrik's power. Also, night become day, whatever, getting counters on it. We don't care about that, really. What we care about is, hey, reduce it by at least 1. And also, we already talked about some, like, pump effects that we might have, like that support card. Yeah, trillion less for all of our instant sorceries. Lovely. Can really help us out. But the best of these has got to be Stormkiln Artist. +1/+0 for each artifact you control, so it's going to become a trillion, power larger. Whenever you cast or copy an in-source spell, create a treasure token. So again, because it is Magecraft on the copy, yeah, if we just go infinite with our commander with anything, we get infinite treasures, or again, a trillion, whatever rules there's out there. And then sure, you can win in a variety of ways with your infinite mana. Moving on to tactic number 8, Pet Rocks. And the first one that we've got is Ever-Flowing Chalice. Artifact for 0, multi-kicker for 2, enters battlefield a charge counter on it for each time it was kicked. Taps for that number of charge counters. Basically, you put in 2 mana, taps for 1, you put in 4, taps for 2. A very flexible mana rock, but keep in mind it's even more flexible for this deck because on the turn that we want to go off, we can actually utilize this for 0 mana. You can be like, I play a spell. I play another spell. I spent like 1 mana in total for those 2 spells. Cool. I play the spell I want to play now and go infinite with that, and I win! Yay! Arcane Signet. Great card. Taps for our colors. Fire Diamond enters the battlefield. Taps for a red. Guardian Idol enters the battlefield. Taps for a colorless. But we can actually turn this into a creature. So we can turn it into another mana dork for us. Pay 2. It becomes a 2/2 until end of turn. So with like Triton Tactics or whatever, it can go infinite. Next up, Is It Signet can filter our mana. Then we've got Sky Diamond enters the battlefield. Taps for a blue. Talisman of Creativity. This one's going to tap for a colorless, and then also it can damage us, so do be careful with this one. If you are going infinite with it, obviously, you're like, I deal damage. That's gonna add up at some point when you're like, oh, I'm tapping as many times as I want. Yeah, be careful with that, but still, I mean, if you've got, you know, infinite untaps, infinite mana with this, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be able to at least play like another mana rock and then be able to play that. So there you go. You should be able to win from there. Now let's go to tactic number 9, more wrenches, because we already talked about some ways to wrench into our opponent's plans, but we've got some other little tiny cute ways to do so too. Aether Spellbomb, a single mana. So again, on our like cantrippy turn, we're like, okay, play a spell. Whatever you need to do, this is a 1 mana way to do that. Or get it down early, pay blue, sacrifice it, bounce a creature back to its owner's hand, so do so, slow someone down. Pay 1, sacrifice, draw a card if you need to do that, though. Alchemist Retrieval, for 1 mana, we can bounce one of our own things back to our hand, or for 2 mana, bounce an opponent's non-land permanent back to their hand. Speed of Witch, Banishing Knack, this is quite funny. Until end of turn, target creature gains tap, return target non-land permanent back to its owner's hand. Retraction, Helix is the exact same thing. With either one of these, again, on one of our creatures, it's just a great, easy way to be like, okay, like, I bounce that thing. Or, again, if we are going infinite with any of those ways to, like, untap creatures, bounce my opponent's boards. It is Cyclonic Rift in that way. Have fun. Next up, Condescend. Counter target spells control pays X scry 2. Keep in mind, with this, yeah, it can be a counter spell. It can be a way to dig down to our deck, but also it can be a way to be like, oh, okay, yeah, just, okay, I cast a cantrip on my turn. I cast this spell to counter it. Pay 0. Okay, I'll pay the 0. And yeah, weird rule up there. I think you actually have to say that you pay the 0. Because if you're like, no, I don't pay the 0, then it's countered, which is weird. I think that came up in a tournament at some point when someone was joking. But anyways, another way to, like, basically just play a 1 mana spell on your turn to get to that 3rd spell to win. Dispel, counter target and spell for 1 mana. This can be great protection for going off on a turn. Spell Pierce, another great card like that. Counter target non-creature spells control pays 2. It's actually quite a hefty price. Void Snare, bounce target non-mana permanent back to its owner's hand at sorcery speed. But yeah, a lot of great low to the ground ways to just throw some wrench into our opponent's plans. But now as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know your thoughts are on this deck. Yeah, Stella Lee is crazy powerful. Again, even on a budget as low as this one, again, $20.50. The commander's like 1/5 of the budget, and it is still a deck that, like, I'd be scared if I was going up against it because of how quickly it can just be like, oh, by the way, I win. What? Already? Yeah, I comboed with one of my like 12, 15, 20 things, whatever that combos with this. Oh, okay, well, shuffle up, play again, and win on turn 3 or 4 again. Okay, cool. Yay. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. So yeah, if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.